Nature of Society, a course presented by Unsustainable Development and its founder, Nigel Gittens. Welcome to Unsustainable Development. My name is Nigel Gittens from Trinidad and Tobago, your convener and presenter for this course called Nature of Society. This course assumes no prior knowledge or special qualifications, but only a willingness to participate and to observe the phenomenon discussed in the course in the outside world. The course examines and lists phenomena in society and seeks to prefer approaches and solutions for the challenges facing societies throughout the world. Sessions will be held once a week and will be made available to participants thereafter for review. Unsustainable Development is a not-for-profit educational charity interested only in the pursuit and dissemination of knowledge for the solution of problems and challenges facing societies. There are no certificates to be gained upon the completion of the course, but you may find its content very revealing and eye-opening. If you have any questions or observations, please feel free to send them to the email address nigelgittens@gmail.com or on our Facebook page on Sustainable Development. These will be responded to at the end of the presentation. The founder of this course and on Sustainable Development, Nigel Gittens, has been a student and avid follower of this subject for the past 37 years and an author of 6 books. Now to the course itself. The study of the nature of society is a most important undertaking if solutions to the challenges of societies in all over the world are to be found. This course could be defined as one which engages interested persons to seek to find out the correct relationship between men, women included, in society, such that social and economic justice could be brought about and sustained. Let us begin by stating some facts that we can all agree upon. There are 5 essential elements that all men must have in order to exist. These 5 elements are earth, water, air, fire, and space. We can also agree that with the absence of any of these elements, we will not be able to live and thrive. With earth, man is earthbound. This is his natural habitat. He may venture deep under the ocean or deep into outer space, but to earth he must return. He obtains all his food, except fish stock, and shelter from and on earth. With earth, 75% of his body mass is comprised of water, and he must constantly replenish this body mass with water if he is to exist. With fire, not even for a second can he do without sunlight, even in the most dreadful tundra of the earth. There is the presence of fire, the sun, necessary for his existence. With air, the absence of fresh air providing him with oxygen is vitally essential to his existence. With space, man's body takes up space which he cannot be denied for his existence. This is his minimum space requirement. The minimum space each man needs for comfortable living is open for debate. But the point is that space is an essential element for man's existence. Are there elements freely given by the Creator? Are these elements freely given by the Creator? Earth, water, fire, air, space. Are these elements available to man? free of charge. With space, yes. Essentially, man is free to go where he wishes, provided he is not imprisoned. With fire, yes. Sunlight is freely available. With air, yes, although fresh air is increasingly becoming a premium commodity. With water, yes, freely available. What we pay the utilities for is the purifying and transporting of this water to our homes and other places of human activity. With earth, and for the purpose of discussion, we shall assume earth is land and those lands that are habitable by man. Is land freely available to man? No. Is all valuable land fully in use? No. Is there a need by man for vacant land, although all valuable lands are not fully in use? Yes. Let us pause for a few minutes. If you have questions, please email them to nigelgittens@gmail.com. So this is a book that my last publication, which is on the market. It's available at amazon.com, which is well worth reading, and it's about the subject that we are dealing with in these lectures. Before the break, we were reaching the conclusion that all the elements necessary for man's existence, earth in the form of land was the only one that was not freely available to man. All habitable lands were not fully in use, although there is a great need for these lands by many men. We begin this second half by stating some immutable facts, which are: 1. Man is embodied in earth. The 5 essential elements, including earth, exist in him. 2. In himself are all his talents and desires. 3. On earth are all the raw materials for the display of his talents and the satisfaction of his desires. 4. Man, by his nature, can only occupy land, that part of earth, and only those areas that can satisfy these desires. It can therefore be that all men must have access to land for these desires to be satisfied. Therefore, all men should have equal rights to the use of land. It is to the study of the nature of society that we engage to find acceptable ways to bring this about. Our study of the nature of society can be defined as a study between man and man in the context of the creation. It is about the creation of human wealth and the distribution of this wealth to satisfy all men's needs and desires. We close this first day's session with a look at how human economic activity exists in any society present. And there we have this schematic diagram of the economic landscape of man. This schematic drawing is intended to illustrate how human economic activity is reflected from the more valuable sites near the port of a coastal city to the less valuable sites further inland. So we have the commercial sites that is closest to the port, and then the residential sites, which comprises urban and suburban residences, close to the commercial sites where the residents themselves frequent to work and to buy goods and services for consumption. And further out, we have the industrial sites where goods are produced, either for consumption in the country itself or for export to other countries. And then we come to agricultural sites where food is produced, either for local consumption or also for export. Not only are the tallest buildings located near the more valuable sites or lands, but these tall buildings reflect the economic product or rent possible, but also reflects the market value of the lands that would be demanded by the landlords here. There are many sites adjacent to these highly valued sites which are held out of production or unproductive or are not producing their economic potential, but for which a princely sum would be demanded if persons were to desire to purchase these sites. This is true for all countries. We all agreed earlier that all men must have access to land to satisfy their talents and desires. Could these vacant, desirable lands or sites have anything to do with the level of unemployment or the fact that all men's talents are not satisfied in society today? What would it take to bring these vacant sites into production so that talents and desires be satisfied? I now introduce you to the concept of the communal due. Communal due created by the community. This will be, of course, expanded upon and discussed shortly and in future videos. If we agree that satisfying all men's talents and desires is a sure way of finding solutions to challenges that face society, if we agree that men need access to these valued sites, then using a land value tax may be one way to release these sites and bring them into production. Thus far, these sites are held out of production or are underproducing to the loss of society, whose members have to pay a premium to gain access to them. The other point that should be made is that these valuable sites owe their values to the demand and patronage paid to them by the community, rather than anything the occupiers or owners are doing to them or would have done to them in the past. If the community has created these values, then it seems just that the community be repaid for these values that it would have created. This land value tax or communal due is related to the market value of the site and is based upon it. Next week we will explore more fully this concept of the communal due. But during the course of next week, have a look at your neighborhood. See whether what is suggested here this evening could be verified. See whether valuable sites in your community are held out of production, that is, vacant, or are unproductive or underproducing, and see whether this bears any relation to men being unable to satisfy their desires and express their talents. Come back next week full of observation. Have a great week.